Welcome to another vlog, another European adventure, and this one I'm sharing with my good friend Aaron. We had a mammoth drive from Calais yesterday, best part of 10 hours, but we split the drive in down to the River Lot. Now we haven't got really big solid plans ahead of us, we're just kind of making it up as we go along. Last night we managed to just pull up next to a body of water, slip out the bed chairs out the back of the van, cast out a couple of rods, and both me and Aaron have been graced with some fantastic looking carp. They're not big, but I've managed this lovely little mirror, and Aaron has managed this fantastic little common. Now, a brilliant way to start the session. Both of us landing fish on our first night, literally just flicking a couple of rods out because we were so tired from the massive drive for yesterday. So the plan today is to slip this one back, get a couple of stills for Aaron of his common, get the bed chairs folded away, and then we're heading off to the River Lot where we've got a boat for the next couple of days to join us on our adventure for another European amazing trip. There we go. So we've just picked up the boat. As you can see behind me, we managed to drop the van off, get all the gear out, and then we've just loaded up. We've got the boat in tow, we've got 48 hours. We've had some great recommendations from the owner, from the Lot experience. So we're gonna head off now, find some of them spots. We've got 48 hours ahead of us. It's not a lot of time for fishing here on the River Lot, but nonetheless, we're gonna give it a go. We're gonna pre-bait some spots on the way through. What more can I say? We're in the south of France, we're on the river, we're gonna have a great time. So today has been an exceptionally long day, but then a very pleasant day, all but that. So we started off at about 9 o'clock this morning, picked up the boat, and then what we've done is we've transited down through the big lock and the weir, which is next to where you collect the boat from. And then we've done a really good stint today. I think we've done probably about 15-20 kilometers down the river to check out some likely looking spots. Now, we saw one fantastic looking area on this bend where we are now. Thought it looked good, but we carried on down anyway to see if we could see anything better, but we couldn't, so then came back up to this bend. And since we've been sat here, we've probably seen about a dozen shows in the vicinity. Now, all the shows that we've seen have been spread out quite a bit, and that's exactly what I've done with my fishing rods. So I've got one rod fishing actually quite close to us down to a set of snags just off to my left hand side. The other one I've boated out to the middle of the, I was going to say lake then, but it's not, we're on a river, to the middle of the river. A good spread of bait over the top of it, and then the final rod, my third rod, is fishing over to that far margin the other side. Being a river, being fast flowing, we're using 10-ounce leads, so massive leads, and then also we're back leading as well. So all three rods are now out on the spots. I'm absolutely starving. It's been a really long day, so the next job is to give Aaron a hand getting his rods out, and then it'll be a case of getting some dinner on, sitting back with a glass of wine, and listening to the wildlife. You can probably hear it behind me, all the frogs and crickets croaking at the moment. But time to watch that sun going down, and I'm feeling confident of a bite, but wish me luck. So yesterday we picked up the boat, we had a good explore of the river, we found ourselves in a real nice bend, real nice section of the river. But last night we lost a couple of fish, and we quickly realised that where we was fishing on this particular bend was super snaggy. Now, I don't mean snags that are coming up out of the water, I mean low-lying snags at the bottom of the riverbed. And unfortunately it just wasn't really fishable. Every time we had a bite or a run, or even when we was bringing the rods in, we was just getting caught up. So this morning me and Aaron have got up a little bit late, I may add, because we had such a long day, 2 days in fact, driving down and then getting the boat, so we had a little bit of a lie-in. Now this morning we've already moved about 300 metres, 400 metres up the river to this little area where there's a pontoon next to me, and we've just been sat and watching the water, just seeing if we can see any signs of fish. We've sat here for about half an hour now, had some breakfast, had a cup of tea, haven't seen anything at all, so we're going to carry on back up the river, back towards the weir. So we've just left the little pontoon, we stayed here for about half an hour, 40 minutes, haven't seen anything, so we're going to carry on down the river. I say down the river, we're actually heading back up the river towards the weir. Now, we've learned two valuable things so far on this trip. Number one is don't position your boat above a load of snags on the back side of the bend of the river, and that's because the snags under the water about 30 metres down are so thick and dense, it was even a struggle getting the rods, getting the leads back to the boat when reeling in. The other thing that we've come to learn is that Aaron cannot multitask, so whilst filming, not only has he kicked over one can of Coke, he's also kicked over my can of Red Bull, and to top it off last night, he kicked over a candle, spilling wax all over the main deck. Right, now we're heading off to spot number 3, well, spot number 2 anyway, something that we pre-baited yesterday on the way through, and fingers crossed there's a few carp there, but let's go and have a look. I'm feeling pretty confident, weather's changed, come on the carp. This looks quite good down here on the left as well, mate, yeah. So we've moved sections now, and we've moved closer to a little town. Where we're fishing, or where we're about to start fishing, we've positioned the boat in the middle of the river, right up against one of these stanchions. Both sides of the river are littered with trees, snags, weed beds, real likely looking carpy spots, but nowhere appropriate to position the boat. So we've stopped near enough sort of in the middle of the river, adjacent one of these stanchions. We're not in the way of any passing traffic, we've kept ourselves nicely out of the way. But what that means is fishing close up to these snags, the flow here is exceptionally hard, and that's making it really difficult to get good line lay. Every time we put the rods out, the lines are just floating off downstream and it's pulling the rigs out of place, even though we're using massive 10-ounce leads. So we've come up with a bit of a plan. Aaron has brought with him these little, what can I describe as 2-ounce sort of bat leads, and we're sort of doctoring them, so we're making our own little means of being able to hold the line up and out of the water. So I'm taking about 2 foot of descend braid, doubling it back over on itself so it forms a loop. I'm pulling this apart, so I'm pulling these little back leads apart into 3 pieces. We're not using the lead, we're just using the bit of rubber and the little quick release sort of rubber clip on there that's really springy. So to begin with then, with that loop of line that I've just made double back over on itself, I'm pulling it back through the little rubber clip, doubling it over so it grips onto the piece of rubber, and then all we're doing is pushing the original clip back into it. When we come to position this in the tree, Aaron's a thirsty kind of guy, so we've got loads of these spare bottles and we'll need to retrieve these before we leave the spot. All we're going to do is just screw top the lid back on with that bit of descend braid with the little clip, and then we're going to attach that in the tree. So what that means is we can pull that nice and tight. We're almost fishing it kind of like washing line style effectively, with the line up and out of the water. We're not getting the problems with the drag from the river, and fingers crossed it means that our rigs can stay in position long enough for us to pick up a carp. What a day today. We made the move further upstream, and after a short period of time of putting the rods out, had an absolute savage take. The pre-baited spots that we baited on the way down on our first day had come up trumps. Now I got out in the boat because the fish was all weeded up, got above it, but unfortunately a short period after I had the most horrendous hook pull. But that's fishing here on the river lot. It's going to be tough, but at least I knew my gear was up to the task. Now I've got it straight back out, and shortly after, this fantastic little common has turned up. Nowhere near as big as what I was hoping, but nonetheless, my first carp from the river lot. I'm ecstatic. We've worked really hard for this. In fact, we've worked really hard for this, and it just goes to show that patience does pay off. A new style of fishing for myself, fishing up tight, close to snags, from a boat, on a river, never going to be easy. But there we are, proof in the pudding. What more can I say? Right, I'm going to slip this guy back because it's roasting hot. It's getting on a bit now, and I want to get some dinner on. Fingers crossed Aaron gets one next. But I'm very happy. We leave tomorrow, unfortunately, so we only did 2 nights, but it's been worth the trip. So I'm just sitting there enjoying something to eat, and my left hand rod burst into life again. Got myself weeded up. Not sure if it's a carp, bream, a 10. Nonetheless, it's a fish. Back out in the orange buoyancy in my boat. Fingers crossed we're going to be. Got number 2! Yeah. So it's been an exceptionally long day today. Was just sitting there enjoying some food and my left hand rod has sprung into life. I'm pleased that we found a way of being able to get the lines up and out of the water, because it just goes to show that if you can keep a rig in the right place, presented well, then you're going to get bites. Now unfortunately it's not a massive carp, hence why I'm still doing this from inside the boat and we're losing the light, but nonetheless it is a river lot common carp. Let's get her up and out of the water if she behaves. These river carp are fighting really hard, and no doubt this little character will want to get herself straight back. It's going to be over for a minute, but look how angry this little character is. Another river lot carp, and I'm really happy. 2 nights, 2 carp on what we asked for. Aaron's managed himself a barbel this afternoon, so fingers crossed Aaron managed himself a carp next. Alright, let's slip this little character back and finish my dinner. There we go, that's carp number 2. Time to get that rod straight back out in position before we completely lose the light. And then fingers crossed we get another one in the night. Well, very good morning. The weather conditions have completely changed. The day we got here, it was bright beaming sunshine with 30-degree temperatures. Today, this morning, waking up, it's raining really hard and it is really overcast. We've got a little bit of wind and the temperature has certainly dropped. Now, I've just got up, had myself a cup of tea, but moments before, I've managed to land myself another river lot carp. So the plan today is finish my tea, take some pictures of this fish that we've got, bring the rods in, and then we're going to head up the river to another little spot which we saw on the way down. Now, as much as we love fishing in one little area, catching fish, unfortunately this is an adventure, and it wouldn't be an adventure stuck in one place. So we're going to bring the rods in, head up to another spot and see if we can catch some carp. This is one angry river carp, just under 20 pound. Whoa. He really wants to go back already. Like all the carp we've had so far, they're putting up a massive scrap, and especially this one wants to get back. Right, I'm gonna put him back straight away because it's starting to rain hard, and also we want to get the rods pulled in and we want to get off to our next spot. The biggest one so far at just under 20 pound. Not the giants that we're looking for, but nonetheless, it's a carp. We're in a new place, a new skill set, and I'm really happy. Right, I've only got the rest of today on the boat, and then we're heading off to another location for this evening, if we can manage it, because it's a long drive back to Calais. Wicked. Let's get this back and then get off to our new spot. So it's our last day. We've got a full day of fishing ahead of us, and we've decided to move locations again. It wouldn't be an adventure without moving up and down the river, and this is certainly what it is. So we've moved up the stretch back to almost where we started, and now we're sort of just trolling up and down just to see if we can see any signs of any fish. We have a feeling that there's a little spot just around the corner, and we put a little bit of bait in yesterday. We're just coming under one of the main bridges now. There's a big swimming section off to my left hand side, so we're going to avoid that. But over the other side of the riverbank looks really snaggy and looks really good for a carp or two. So I'm going to concentrate now. I'm going to swing the boat round, try and get it moored up, and then we're going to go get some rods out and hopefully get ourselves another carp. So we've got a few hours left on the boat before we take it back, and then we've got a mammoth drive back to Calais. I thought I'd take the time to show you really quickly the rig that I've been using, and to good effect. Now everything here on the river is stepped up a notch. There's loads of snags, it's fast flowing water, and I need something that I've got loads of confidence in and is going to be strong and reliable. So the two main bits that I'm using here is the 2XX Continental hook in a size 4, and then I've got a stiff 35-pound Camo X hook length material. All I've done is tight knotless knot style, no shrink tubing, no kickers, nothing like that. And then I've just got 2 of the new Pro Stim liver coated hook baits in 18mm. Further down the hook link material there's a large sinker, and then at the other end it's just an overhand loop knot with a little bit of silicone to attach it to my uni lead clip system. And that is it. That is as simple as it gets, coupled out of a 10-ounce lead so it's not going to move whilst out in the river, and that's what's been doing the business. So all 3 rods are out now. Aaron's got his out fishing as well. A few hours left, you never know, we might chuck up another carp. If not, we're going to be heading back towards Calais, and hopefully we'll be finding a new spot, probably in the middle of the night. So it's the final little section. We finished up where we are. Unfortunately, we didn't have anything on that last bend. It's about 5:30. We've got a 10-hour drive now back to Calais, so a mammoth drive. We might stop off on the way and find ourselves a little spot, whether it be on a river, canal, or a little public lake. We'll see how we're going for time, we'll see how we feel. But the plan is to try and stop near Rouen, a section of river that I know that leads into a bit of a basin. So that's the plan. Fingers crossed it kind of pays off. We're going to collapse the rods down in a minute, give the boat back, and then get on our way. Feels like it's going to start raining, but hey, what a shame we haven't managed to catch anything in the last little section. Last little bit we've got to do now is go through the lock system, back up to where the base is, where we got the boat from, and hand the boat back. But if we don't see you again, thanks a lot for watching, guys. It's been an incredible trip. We didn't spend very long down there, but we know now for next time what we need to be doing and where we need to be going. But hey, that's all part of the adventure. Don't forget to click the link below, hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and also leave a comment where you'd like to see us going on a future adventure. Well, final stage to get the boat back is to go up through one of these enormous locks. I've done a lot of canal boating in my time, and I've done a lot of boating in the UK around the canals. But boy, this is a different scale. I've never been in a lock quite as big as this one. Now you haven't got to do anything, we've literally come in, the giant door is shutting down behind us, and then in a minute they're going to start filling the lock up so we can go up, so then we can travel further upstream. But feels like you're almost in a big prison you can't climb out of. That is a big door, isn't it? So all the water's going to come right in.